Let's explore how we can use Tabnine to assist with the creation of database queries for our multi-user to-do application. In this video, we'll leverage the type-safe Prisma client that was generated based on the schema.prisma file we updated in the last video. If you haven't watched, take a moment to do that now. We'll also focus on query creation and use existing components prepared ahead of time. Let's start by showing all the to-do items for the currently logged in user. This is a standard remix page that uses a loader function to pull data on the server side and passes it to the default component to be rendered as a page. It's currently passing in an empty array for the to-dos. Let's replace that line with a query using the Prisma client. We could start by adding a comment and letting autocomplete provide us with a suggestion. But my preferred method is to use Tabnine chat. So let's do it that way. And we'll insert the code. This produces the same output, but notice the categories are missing. We can continue our chat conversation and ask it to include the category information. In the chat, we'll just continue our conversation and ask it to also include the categories for each to-do item. And now the categories are visible. Notice there is a checkbox for each item. The task should be marked as completed when checked. Let's fix this. In the same file, there is an action function that accepts submitted data. When the checkbox is clicked, the action function receives a request that includes the to-do item ID and a Boolean value specifying whether it's marked as completed or not. Let's insert a Prisma query that will update the to-do item accordingly. We can quickly do this using a code comment and let autocomplete suggest a solution. Because we're already on the same page, we don't need this piece right here. And that's it. Now when we mark the item as completed and refresh the page, the data is persisted. Before we leave this page, let's make one more update to our find all query and change the order so completed items appear at the end of the list. We can do that by creating a new conversation, highlighting our query, and then asking in the chat for it to update this so completed tasks appear at the end. We'll go ahead and insert it. And we can see the browser refreshed and our completed task is at the end. We can click another one and it will be moved to the end. That's better. For our last item, let's do something a little more advanced. Prisma's client API can handle most database tasks, but there are times when executing raw SQL statements perform better. Let's use our schema.prisma file as context using an @ mention and have Tabnine generate a SQL query that will pull task completion data for all users for a scoreboard. I'll start with a new conversation. And we'll ask in the chat for it to create a SQL statement that will return the % of tasks completed for all users based on the schema.prisma file. So here it generated a SQL statement, pretty complex, and then gives you a nice description of what's going on. Now let's use this statement as part of a Prisma raw query to get a typed result we can return in the loader function. We'll start by highlighting the loader function. And then we can ask in the chat to use this query to create a Prisma typed raw query to get completion status for all users and add it to the returned object. Now we can update our default component to display this information. We'll start by highlighting the todos component function, and then ask in the chat for it to update this component to display the completion status of all users as a scoreboard at the bottom of the page. And we'll go ahead and insert it. And voila, we have our scoreboard. Our to-do application is coming together. We are reading and updating our database using the Prisma client. This is only a small sample of how Tabnine can assist you when using the Prisma ORM. If you come across a cool example, please share it with us. Thanks for watching.